Long before the shelves of garden centers were lined with brightly labeled fertilizers and boosters, farmers were already growing food in some of the most difficult soils on Earth. They had no lab-tested compost, no NPK blends, and no synthetic shortcuts, yet their crops were abundant, their soils stayed alive, and the land remained fertile for generations. How? The answer lies in something most modern gardeners overlook: the plants themselves. Across continents, ancient agricultural systems used specific crops not just for food but for soil healing. These weren't filler plants or accidental weeds. They were deliberate seasonal soil restorers, carefully chosen, lovingly cultivated, and fiercely effective. In this guide, we're going to dig into 5 of those ancient crops, plants that were used as natural fertilizers long before fertilizer had a name. Each one was selected for its ability to fix nitrogen, loosen clay, feed microbes, and build humus right in the root zone. If you're dealing with tired soil, struggling plants, or raised beds that just won't bounce back, these crops may be the forgotten secret your garden is craving. So stick with me, because what you're about to learn could change how you grow and how your soil performs forever. Lablab, the tropical soil engine. Lablab, also known as hyacinth bean, has been cultivated for thousands of years across Africa and South Asia, but this isn't just another pretty climber. Lablab is a powerhouse in the soil. It sends roots deep into compacted earth, breaking it apart with gentle persistence. But you know, the real magic happens in its nodules, tiny spheres on its roots where beneficial bacteria fix nitrogen directly from the atmosphere into plant-available form. Traditional communities planted lablab alongside staple crops like maize and millet, using it as both living mulch and green manure. When cut down before flowering, its biomass adds a surge of nitrogen and carbon to the topsoil. And because lablab thrives in heat and low moisture, it's perfect for summer gardens where compost dries out too quickly. If you've got dry, cracked soil or raised beds that collapse by midsummer, lablab isn't just an option, it's a solution rooted in centuries of success. Sorghum, the ancient root miner. Sorghum may look like a cousin of corn, but, you know, beneath the surface, it behaves like a natural subsoiler. Its thick, fibrous roots dive down through heavy clay and dry, crusty dirt, prying open channels where air and water can finally flow. In regions from the Horn of Africa to northern India, farmers grew sorghum not just for grain but really to prepare soil for the next crop. Here's what makes sorghum special. It releases compounds from its roots that help suppress harmful weeds and pathogens while feeding a specific group of beneficial microbes. These microbes, in turn, break down minerals in the subsoil and make them available to shallow-rooted plants that follow. If your raised bed is suffering from compaction, or if your garden just won't hold water anymore, try planting a round of sorghum. Let the roots do the digging, then chop it down and leave the stubble to feed the worms. Amaranth, the forgotten biomass giant. You know, amaranth is often thought of as just a food crop, and sure, it definitely is. But it's also one of the best natural tools out there for building organic matter. Its roots grow fast and wide, opening up the topsoil while its massive leafy canopy shades the ground and helps prevent moisture loss. Ancient Central and South American growers actually used amaranth as what they called a soil softener. After seasons of heavy maize production, they'd go ahead and plant amaranth to restore balance, both physically and chemically. Amaranth is pretty amazing because it captures trace minerals from deeper layers and stores them in its broad leaves. When those leaves are cut and dropped as mulch, they slowly release calcium, potassium, and magnesium. No need for any added fertilizer at all. You know, you can use amaranth in much the same way today. Just plant it between your crops or during those summer gaps. Let it grow nice and tall, then go ahead and chop it down, mulching the base. Your soil, well, it'll thank you with better tilth, richer texture, and of course, happier microbes. Fenugreek, the cool season fixer that just keeps on going. Now, fenugreek isn't just a culinary herb, not by a long shot. For centuries it has been used in the Middle East and India as a cover crop to heal dry, eroded soils. And you know what? Even though it prefers those shoulder seasons, fenugreek grows surprisingly well in raised beds with partial sun during the summer. Quite versatile, isn't it? Its secret lies in its dual nature: shallow roots that knit the surface and fast-growing leaves that act as a green carpet. Like Lablab, fenugreek is a legume. It fixes nitrogen and boosts microbial activity around its root zone. But it also offers a mild allelopathic effect, meaning it suppresses weeds while it grows. Plant it in areas where your soil dries and cracks, or, use it as an interplant to cool down soil for more delicate crops. Once it flowers, just cut it down and leave it in place. You'll have softer, darker soil within a few weeks. Mustard, the ancient soil cleanser. You've probably seen mustard in wild fields or along garden edges, but, ancient growers knew this was no weed. In regions from Rome to India to northern China, mustard was used to cleanse and recharge garden beds between growing seasons. Why? Well, because mustard does three things few plants can. First, its deep taproot breaks up compaction and creates water channels. Second, it releases glucosinolates. Those are natural biochemicals that suppress soil pathogens and even break down pesticide residues. And third, when turned under, mustard becomes one of the fastest decomposing green manures you can grow. Today, mustard is still used in regenerative farms to fight nematodes and improve soil texture. If you're transitioning a dead bed or struggling with crop diseases, mustard isn't just useful, it's time-tested medicine for your soil. You don't need acres of land or, a history degree to put these crops to work. You can sow them directly into raised beds, border plots, or even containers. And hey, you can rotate them between heavy-feeding vegetables like tomatoes or corn. Just let them grow, chop them before they flower, and let them compost right there in place. You'll not only feed your soil, you'll actually build a living system where worms, fungi, and roots can really thrive again. The beauty of these crops is honestly their simplicity. They don't need tilling, they don't require watering once they're established, and they don't cost anything beyond, just a few seeds. Yet the benefits they bring, structure, nutrition, microbial life, are truly priceless. So, as we look ahead, it's clear that the future of gardening is honestly deeply rooted in the past. By embracing time-tested traditions and respecting the wisdom of those who came before us, we can create healthier gardens and, a more sustainable world for generations to come. In our search for better gardens, we often chase shiny solutions, packaged nutrients, lab-made amendments, fancy tools. But the healthiest soils in history were built with plants, with patience, and with trust in nature's ability to heal itself. These 5 crops, Lablab, sorghum, amaranth, fenugreek, and mustard, were used by ancient cultures who understood that good soil doesn't need rescuing. It needs the right partners with roots. So before you reach for the bag of fertilizer this summer, consider planting something different, something older, something wiser. Your soil remembers, and when you plant like the ancestors did, it will rise again, alive, balanced, and ready to grow. If you found this guide helpful, subscribe to Hydrohaven for more regenerative gardening wisdom. And don't forget to share this video with a fellow gardener who's ready to grow like the old masters did, naturally, powerfully, and with roots that heal.